Hi, I'm Mike Yanessa. Welcome to another episode of Car Stories. Today we're at the AACA Museum in Hershey, PA, right in front of the Kissmobile, right down the street from Hershey Park. A really good museum, has a lot of interesting stuff. Also on the grounds is a research library. So if you have any questions about your old car or you want to research some history about old cars, this is the place to come. To join the AACA is definitely a good thing if you own an old car. So let's check out what's inside the AACA Museum here in Hershey, Pennsylvania. All right, so now we're inside the building, the AACA Museum, and we're here with Jeff Bleemeister, and he's going to tell us a little bit about going on. Like, Jeff, what's with this Corvette here, this beautiful new Corvette?
Yeah, that's a brand new Corvette. Every year we raffle a chance to win a Corvette or a cash equivalent, and we've always bought a car every year, and then the last couple of years the person's taken the money, so we ended up selling back a used car. So this year you get a chance to you get a voucher to go to the dealership, turn it into a base level Corvette.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah,
so
we get away every year at the fall meet.
At the fall Hershey.
Meet. Yeah, it's Fall Hershey.
Okay. If you've never been to Fall Hershey, it's probably the biggest car show, flea market, auction in the world. I mean, Carlisle, we've heard of, I've talked about that before on the show, is years ago was mainly muscle cars, and Hershey was always known for the antique and classics, and now muscle cars. So at the Hershey event this year, you could win yourself a new Corvette.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
fun.
We came in to look at old cars, though. What's the old cars we got here? What's with the ones here?
Right now we're highlighting our garage finds, our barn finds, all original cars.
Okay.
So we have about 200 cars in our collection that were all donated. We're very proud of that fact.
Right,
but to keep things interesting, we change things out, as you well know, with temporary exhibits. And right now we have all original vehicles. We swapped out 66 vehicles over 3 days, cars and motorcycles, and the 3 you see down here are in their original condition.
Right, that means they haven't been touched. I mean,
pretty much, yeah.
I've understood this one wasn't ever out of Lebanon, PA, is that correct?
Yeah, that car is neat because it was never out of Lebanon. It was found in the garage of the original owner.
Well, let's go take a look at that one, Gus. So, as Jeff said, the museum has permanent displays, which are here all the time, and then they have traveling displays. Right now, the current display is original, unrestored cars. So here's just a couple that Jeff's going to talk about that are really cool. This I've never even heard of, a 1913 Empire touring car. Tell me the story, Jeff. I heard it's a good one.
Empire is kind of neat because at the early days of the automobile, there were literally thousands of different car manufacturers, and most of them were put out of business by the time of the Depression. The Empire, this Empire here, was sold at a hardware store locally in Lebanon County. It never left the county. The owner had it, and his sons, I was told by the person who has it now, the sons had it, went to take it for a drive, had a little too much to drink, rolled the car on its side.
Oh my.
So, and out of anger, the father put the car in the garage, fixed it so it was drivable again, put it in the garage, parked it, it sat there for decades.
Wow.
So there are a few changes on it. You can't see it from here, but if you right in front of you, see the 4 bows, the metal for the bows?
On the top?
Yeah, that was damaged in the rollover. The other side only has 3.
So they didn't never replace it?
Never replaced it, never used it again. But the current trend, and one of the hottest trends, is keeping cars original.
Right, and a lot of people don't understand that. They think that they all need to be shiny and perfect, and no, it's neat sometimes just to leave them the way they are. Like this thing behind us. Jeff, tell us about this one.
This one,
another story.
It's a Packard. More people have probably heard of a Packard than an Empire.
Yep.
Packard existed a lot longer, made a lot more cars. This one's owned by a gentleman named Mark Lessner, who's employed by the Historic Vehicle Association. From what I understand, this car has had a long and hard life. It's been through an industrial accident where it was damaged, sent back for repairs to the Packard factory, and then came back and then survived the flood. And I think surviving is the term. I think this is in its as flooded condition.
Right, and it's just cool to see it that way with the original upholstery, with the original, I guess that's horsehair stuffing. I mean, you know, it's only original once, they always say. Even if they're in bad condition, it's still cool to leave them this way.
Absolutely. I mean, for the longest time, it was a crime to restore an antique furniture, a piece of furniture. You devalued it by doing that. With cars, it was the opposite. So now it's nice to see automobiles are getting to that too.
Yep. I know a lot of people have trouble with that. Like, why don't that guy restore that? Or why don't he re-chrome it or restore it? And it's just not, sometimes it's not valid, especially these rare ones like this one over here, the Empire. I mean, it's just the way it was back then. It has a good story. Remember car stories, cars always have a story, especially the old ones. So the next one down here, Jeff, what's this?
That is a locomobile, and for those that were in the car hobby and know it well, this one last operated in 1945 when it was driven to Henry Austin Clark's picnic on Long Island. Henry Austin Clark is known as a collector and a historian, early historian of automobiles. He and Beverly Ray Kimes wrote the Standard Catalog of American Cars, which highlights some of those thousands of manufacturers I talked about earlier. The volume is something like 3 or 4 inches thick. And that's just a partial.
And then by the 30s, it narrowed it down
Correct, yes.
to some
Yes.
General Motors, Ford, Chevy, that type.
That Empire we saw a minute ago is it is operable. The owner is in the restoration business. He made the car drivable.
Okay.
This one is not drivable, but the owner says he's going to make it that way.
But
It's
it
going to be
hasn't
just the
run
basics,
since 1945.
Correct.
I mean, that's just amazing. What a neat car. So now we're standing in front of this beautiful Graham. Jeff, tell us about this one. Why is this at the museum?
This car here is part of a new display we just have from the Historical Vehicle Association. You can see the HVA decal on the windscreen of the car. Historical Vehicle Association documents significant cars in American history, world history actually, but this one here was owned by Nicola Bulgari, the famed jeweler from the jeweler family, and it's number 19 in the register. They highlight cars for all kinds of different reasons, for significance, and this is one of theirs. We're trying to promote the organization and what they do. Our museum has a 1895 Chicago Motors Benton Harbor, which is the oldest documented race car. That vehicle will be inducted into the HVA at our night at the museum on October 4th.
October 4th.
So we're playing a
Put
role in
your
that
books.
organization
Yeah,
as well,
that's a
so
real
we're
good
happy
one.
about that.
And from what I understand, there's going to be other vehicles from the HVA in the museum from time to time?
Yes, that's the
Right.
plan. We want to work together
Excellent.
to promote our missions.
Yep, very nice, very nice. And right aside of it is this beautiful, unrestored 1968 Z28. Anybody knows that watches the show knows that I'm a Camaro nut. This one has not been repainted. It's original. It's kind of neat. It has the crash dummy in it that they actually kind of used in 1968. And there's a video here showing it. But just a beautiful, beautiful example of a 68 Camaro Z28. And this is on loan for the...
This is on loan. It's owned by Rick Risser, who's a local General Motors dealer next door in Palmyra.
Oh, yeah.
And he actually, the Corvette we looked at a little bit earlier, his dealership loaned us that car. He helped us promote the raffle every year.
So the raffle for the
Yes.
giveaway car.
So if you win that car, you'll get to go see Rick, and if you win the voucher, cash it in with Rick.
Right, and get a new Corvette.
Click Lewis, correct.
So we spoke earlier about the Hershey Fall Meet, one of the biggest in the world. Jeff's going to tell us what's happening on October 4th.
Sure, we have a whole slew of events going on during the week, but we really celebrate, our high point is Wednesday night, where we do what we call Night at the Museum.
Okay.
This year we're doing something a little different. We're offering our first ever Automotive Heritage Award, and we're giving it to famed racer and philanthropist Bobby Rahal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's coming to get his award,
Okay.
and we have a couple other special events going on as well, in addition to a real nice dinner and fundraising auction that we're splitting the proceeds with the Children's Miracle Network as well, so it's kind of a joint project for us and a way to give back to the community. We're also having a debut here that night. We're in the Tucker Gallery right now, and most automotive people have heard of the Tucker 48.
Yes.
Well, there was a design concept called the Tucker Torpedo that came out in 1946. It was never actually built, just a design and a model. Rob Ida, who's famous for building Tucker replicas, his grandfather was a Tucker dealer for one day.
I remember that, yes.
He's building something,
For one day.
he's building the Torpedo,
Right.
and it's going to be here making its public debut. It's a private commission piece for an individual, a private owner. It's
Right.
a work in progress, and he's going to be here to uncover it, debut it, and talk about it.
Wow.
Night at the museum.
And that's October
4th.
4th.
Wednesday night.
Okay. There's a lot of things happening up here at the museum. Make sure you check out their website and check it frequently because the displays are always changing, the events are changing. But right now, we're in the Tucker area with the number 1 Tucker and the number 2 Tucker, which was the only automatic one. And Jeff, how did you wind up with so much Tucker stuff?
We were very fortunate. The Kamak family of Virginia, Bill
Right.
Kamak was a Tucker collector from his early 20s, from what I understand. In the early 70s, started amassing this collection, and the family became a friend of the museum. They left all this to us. When Mr. Kamak passed away, the family actually put this wing on the building, and when he passed away, all the contents came here.
And this is a permanent display? It's
This is a
always
permanent
so
display
you-
that
Yep.
all we're going to do is enhance this and make it better. And you'll
Make it
see some
better,
things
right.
later on the tour that we're adding. This will always be here. It's the largest collection of Tucker vehicles under one roof in the country, or the world for that matter.
Right.
And it's helped make us the center of the Tucker universe.
It is. It's an awesome display. I mean, we have a little dealership reproduction here behind us. Mr. Tucker's desk, I believe, is in
That's
there,
correct.
and some of his personal items. So let's go check them out. So here we are inside. This is a exact duplicate of the Tucker dealership, where Mr. Tucker's desk. There's a picture of his secretary here. it's really cool because it gives you a feeling, and I'm allowed to sit in it, that you're in the dealership back in the day. There's all types of options and history over here. I couldn't even begin to tell you. You know, radio options and paperwork and advertising. And over in the corner is actually a film clip that you can sit down and watch of Tucker promotional film, like commercials and, you know, sales films to sell the car. Really cool here. This is out inside of the museum. Outside is the Tuckers that we just looked at, if you can understand that. And just a really neat display that somebody really took the time to set up and make it feel like you're back in the day. So behind us is two Tucker chassis, 1947 test chassis, and the other one is a Series 62. Can you tell us about them, Jeff? What does that mean? Or
Mr. Kamek had these two displayed in his place in Virginia when he had the collection intact. And
Right.
what he was trying to show is the difference between, this is the Packard test chassis right here, and it shows what's underneath the body of
Okay.
the car. The one on the right is a conventional Packard of that era. Shows the differences between a conventional car and Tucker's car.
okay, I got it.
Noticeably, is the position of the engine is probably the biggest difference.
Right, and
But
all the piping
suspension,
and-
yeah, right, the suspension is also different too.
Right,
So he was all about safety and wanted his car to be different.
right.
And he had a lot of innovative features he wanted to put in the car.
So now we're up close at this chassis, and Jeff pointed out some interesting facts. Four-wheel disc brakes. Back then, I mean, it's really neat. Independent front suspension. Look at the upper control arms and the A-frame bushings. I mean, what a weird, unique design. But Jeff said Mr. Tucker was a fanatic for perfection. He wanted the perfect engine, the perfect transmission. And you can see, when I first came here, believe it or not, I couldn't figure out what this was a cooling system, or what is this? Like, exactly what it is. This is the radiator, and all these pipings go back to the back of the car where the engine is. So what a neat cutaway view of the original test chassis, and aside of it is the other chassis that of a car of that era, and you can see amazing differences. Really, really innovative man Mr. Tucker was. So Jeff, you were saying earlier that Mr. Tucker was a fanatic for engines. He wanted everything perfect.
Right.
So he went. What about the engine? I mean, where did he start with? Did he start with a air-cooled engine or?
Yeah, he really wanted to build the perfect car. He wanted it to be powerful, reliable, safe, and fuel efficient. He
Right.
wanted to originally put a helicopter engine in it.
No kidding.
And then he found out that wasn't quite the way to go, so he
Right.
went through a lot of different design. He laid up a lot of his money in design. So what you see here is basically a whole gallery of different engine prototypes that he went through. Some had transmissions attached as well.
Right.
But again, you know, air-cooled products, a whole bunch of different stuff. He went through a lot of R&D money before he finally settled on something.
Right.
And he ended up buying the descendant of the Franklin company, which was in Syracuse, that made air-cooled Franklin cars
Right.
before the Depression.
He bought the engine company?
Well, the company stayed on making engines of some sort for different applications. He ended up buying
Okay.
that company
Wow.
to supply his engines for this.
Right.
You
So
know,
that's what he wound up with.
Yes, exactly.
But these are all
These
different
steps
tries.
along the way. Correct.
Okay.
And there are quite a few of them. The Tucker experts will come in. They'll point out little differences. This is correct. This is not. This
Right.
engine was served for this period. It went through everything like that. He did the same with transmissions. He wanted it to be his.
Right.
He didn't want to use someone else's parts. You
Right.
know, and that wound up in him spending a lot of resources.
And
in
that's
development.
some of the reason he ran out of money. 'cause
Ran
he
out of
spent
time
a
and
lot of
money.
on
Right. Exactly.
prototypes.
He
Wow.
was on a quest.
Yes, that's interesting. There's no place else that you'll find this many Tucker cars or prototype engines. It's just an amazing exhibit. So mark it on your calendar. Come to Hershey Museum and check out the Tucker display. So here's the guy that made it all possible. He's the person that donated this and left it to the museum, so you can come see the world's best collection of Tucker parts and vehicles here at the AACA Museum. Okay, so the Tucker collection is great. We only saw touched on the Tucker collection. There's so much more here, but we want to try to give you an overview of the museum. This is the rotating area where it changes every 6 months or so. And right now, as we said, it's garage finds or unrestored cars. They have a little mini drive-in movie theater here with some cool old cars lined up. We have an old Oldsmobile. It's an original car. Again, it has some imperfections, but it's original. And then 62 Corvette. And That 59 Impala look familiar, Gus? That's our car. We got invited up here. The 59 Impala's been here all summer, part of the unrestored collection. 34,000 miles, original paint. Side of it's a beautiful 59 Cadillac, unrestored. And then look at all of them over there. Another Tucker, an old Mercury, Lincoln Continental, Dodge, all unrestored original cars. And there's more. I mean, this is only a handful. There's a lot more here at the Hershey Museum. Okay, so we're in the lower level of the museum. There's actually 3 floors here. Downstairs, there's some more survivor cars. There's a collection of Camaros. Now, these rotate. They're only here until October 8th. But the buses are always here. And look at the cool old buses. Some of the buses, they even have the mannequins dressed up with the uniforms like they used to wear in the old days when they did the Trailways bus service. And over here is Forrest Gump's bus, the bus from the Forrest Gump movie. So they're always here, and it's really neat here at the AACA Museum, the lower level, the middle level, and the 3rd floor. So we saw old cars that were unrestored. We saw the buses, but here's a cool display of motorcycles that are unrestored here in the lower level of the AACA Museum. So the museum has a really cool gift shop. We got t-shirts, we got license plates, we got toys, Tucker, pencils and posters. It's a really cool place. You can pick up, I picked up a couple little cars for the grandkids here and bring them home. Just a neat gift shop here, and the stuff is available online. So if you go to the AACA Museum online, you can see all the different stuff that they carry here at the gift shop. So this is a new area of the museum that's being renovated. Jeff, tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, you kind of get a chance to see it firsthand behind the scenes before it opens to the public. Okay. This is an area that's been here since day one. It's just to the left of our ticket counter. It used to be, when we opened, our introductory theater. Kind of proved to be a clog point for people. Then we had it as a gallery that no one was really interested in. Now we're changing it around. It's going to be reminiscent of an early dealership. You can see the picture here. It's done up like a Ford dealership from the 50s, 60s, early 70s perhaps. It's curved glass on the sides, 2 doors that open up. We're going to bring cars in right from the front of the museum, right into here, because we couldn't get them in here otherwise before from the back. And we're going to use this space. It's going to be our gift back to the automotive community. You see it decorated as maybe as a Thunderbird showroom here. Right. First thing we're going to do is the NCRS, which you're well familiar with. Sure. Yeah, the Corvette Restorer Society. Yep. They're going to have an exhibit here for about 4 or 5 months. They're going to change it out a couple of times. They're going to feature cars from several generations, talk about what they do, and hopefully attract new members to their group, and help us. We'll work together to promote both of our missions.
And then what, the next time you'll offer it to another type car club?
Exactly, and in between we'll use it for specialty exhibits of our own to commemorate anniversaries and so forth. But it's going to be our gift back to the automotive community. So if there are clubs out there, Mark clubs, smaller other museums perhaps, any organization that's involved in antiques and automobiles, give them a chance to promote. We'll give back that way. Right,
so if you have a club out there and you want to promote the Mustang Club or whatever, get in touch with the museum and see what the process is of getting your car in here. Awesome. How many cars do you think it'll hold?
I think that, well, if you're talking about little ones, like some of the small ones out front, you can get maybe 4 or 5. But I think average size 3 probably. Yeah. 3 cars. 3 Corvettes are what's on the initial list.
On the initial list. And when does that start? What's the anticipated?
We'll have it. Construction's almost done. We'll have it here for Meat Week. It will be our trial period. The Corvette guys are going to be our guinea pig group to go through this. Then we'll have a protocol after that. They're our friends, and we're working with them to spearhead this thing, and then we'll open it up to the general population of car clubs.
All right. All right, and then don't forget about the website.
Do you want to stay up on what we're doing? Check us out at www.aacamuseum.org.
Okay, Jeff, thank you so much
for
giving us
thank you for
a great tour of the museum.
We appreciate having your car here as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
here's something that is new at PCTV. We now have our own TV channel called the Car Stories channel. It's going to be on PCTV's website and also our website. And it'll have every show that I ever did in a timeline. And it's a really cool thing. We'll have commercials on it. We'll have different things, information, and you'll be able to sit back and watch in order all the shows that we've done on PCTV. And don't forget, if you have a business, call Gus. Get a commercial time during the sporting events, or maybe you want to do your own show or have your own TV channel. So again, Car Stories channel on the internet, check it out. Okay, I told you wouldn't recognize it. This was once a shiny red Camaro, and now what's basically left is the rear frame rails and the roll bar. I had the suspension done by Ed Quay Race Car years ago in 1985, and I kind of beat the fender wells in to get bigger tires on it. Now, we have the opportunity now to do a Detroit Speed mini tub. Here's the mini tub. It adds 2.5 inches of tire clearance. This goes on the inside, and the stock outer wheelhouse goes on the outside, and you can fit up to a 14.5 inch wide tire. So that's one of the reasons we cut it apart this far. The main reason was, believe it or not, through the accident, both of the frame rails got kinked. That's how hard this thing was twisted. And the only way to fix these frame rails is to remove the taillight panel and pull on them. Well, you're moving the taillight panel, which was all full of Bondo, and in 1985, Ed Quay patched the floor in the trunk because you couldn't buy a floor in 1985. So this is how it always starts with a restoration. Well, while I'm here, I might as well put a taillight panel on it, I might as well put a trunk floor in it, and some of it wasn't my choice. I had to do this to fix the frame rail. So right now, Jeff has it ready. The frame rails are measured. You can see how flimsy they are, though. There's not much holding it. And he's cleaning off all the old welds, and he's going to put a new trunk floor in it. So, and the mini tubs. So Big Red is not looking too good right now, but it's going to be better than ever when it's done. Everybody knows, if they watch Car Stories, Eastwood is one of the sponsors. And Eastwood has this product called Rust Encapsulator, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Excuse me. So that's what we're going to use on the frame rails. And it's real simple. You just spray it on, and there it is, it's black. They have other colors. You spray it on, and it encapsulates the rust and keeps it from spreading. So inside of here, the outside will all be hit with Eastwood Rust Encapsulator. It's available in spray gun form or spray cans. They also have straws where you can actually shoot it down into the rockers and some of the places you can't get to. But because we have the car so far cut apart, we can get to it with a spray can. So Big Red on the frame machine. It's leveled out on the frame machine, so the whole thing is square. And here's the outer rocker, the inner rocker. The trunk floor is on the other side of the car. We're getting there. A product that Eastwood just gave me to try, and you should look into, is their new buffer. Remember I did a few months ago that Italian buffer, the Roops? This is a knockoff of the Roops. It's an oscillating buffer. It doesn't go around in a circle. It goes back and forth. It's about $100. I think it's $89 or $99. They're on sale, I think, for $89 right now. Really nice buffer, and also it's a sander. You can put a sanding disc on here and sand. So check it out at Eastwood. They're right here in Pottstown on Shoemaker Road. Of course, if you're out of town, you can order it, mail order, and have it shipped. But if you're within a decent driving distance, stop at Eastwood. They have a bunch of stuff to make restoring cars easier. So just wanted you to check that buffer out. So, you know, this is a Jeep that we just painted here at Wheels in Motion in the booth. You get 1 or 2 pieces of dirt, but you don't get a lot because you're painting in a nice, clean environment. And I might have showed this before, but this is the Roops mini buffer that works on a similar, like the Eastwood one, but it's battery operated, no cord. And when we get a little piece of dirt, we'll sand it out. Right here was one. And then you take this stuff. And there's no slop with this. It doesn't fly all over and get the windshield dirty because it doesn't rotate, it just oscillates, okay? So you just take that and you buff that one spot right there. Instead of dragging out the big buffer and spattering the whole windshield and buffing the whole hood, we only buffed that one spot where there was a little piece of dirt. This is a medium pad with a medium compound, and then there's a rougher pad with a rougher compound. But that's it. Now you just get a rag, wipe it off, and you're good to go. We really pride ourselves on turning out a high quality product here, whether it's a classic car or your new car. We go the extra mile and make the things look like better than new, or they'll never know they were hit. That's our goal, is to make the cars look really nice. So beautiful Jeep here that we just got done painting, and it's ready to go.
Never talked, never really played. And Grant passed away a number of years ago, but I thought, what a better way to honor him with something I love, and is raise money for kids, for youth scholarships at all 6 of our facilities. And you know, that's a program I'm super proud of. 11 years, we've raised $370,000, and we provide youth scholarships to all kids. And the purpose behind that is so everybody, rich, poor, doesn't matter. If you want to play at a Y, we'll make it happen. And that's really why I care about the Y.
Well, we're fortunate to have a leader like you at the helm. I truly appreciate what you do. And when you're here in this building, for sure, and in the other facilities, and I've been in almost all of them with the exception of Sinking Spring, you can really tell that they are centered in our communities, that they are vital, they are critical to the health of the community and to the well-being of the people, and particularly the youth in our community. So thank you for what you do.
Right. Thank you very much, Senator.
So I'll just present this to you. It's signed by, or it's voted on by all of the senators who have Ys in their community and understand how important they are. So in appreciation, may I present this to you and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator, very much.
Sure.
People with disabilities may request a transcript of this program by calling area code 717-787-5166. The TTY number is 1-800-364-1581.